The first place that comes to mind when we think about the history of cities are large modern buildings or statues containing all the information you need to know about a city's history. Yet even in cities, natural landmarks also carry much historical and current significance to the communities of people that live in them, such as Cortlandt Park in Bronx, New York. The community not only contains a plethora of historic landmarks, but it also provides a natural space for city folk to enjoy. Cortlandt Park has become far more beneficial to the advancement of citizen involvement as a public space rather than a private space. Cortlandt land once belonged to the wealthy Dutch and English Cortlandt family in the 16th to 17th century, as a wheat plantation and partial grist mill. Before that, it was home to a Native American village known as the Wet'suwet'en people over a long period of time until the 17th century. After immigrant merchant Olaf Stevenson van Cortlandt purchased land from Adrian van der Donck in 1664 over many centuries, the Van Cortlandt family became owners of a wheat plantation and processing plant, where today you currently see the parade grounds and baseball fields, with a lake replacing the old grist mill. As the estate went through the transition of becoming a park, the land and estate were not in great condition. The colonial dames of New York State took hold of the Van Cortlandt mansion and began recreating its 1700s aesthetic, and made efforts to transform the land for public engagement. Had this land been sold to private business, the mansion, remnants of Van der Donck structures, and the nature of the park's highlands would have been lost and further obscured from Bronx history. Instead, the New York State Parks Department helped make an effort to teach youths and preserve the land as it is. Van Cortlandt Park provides educational facilities like Van Cortlandt House Museum, where people of all ages can go and learn the history of Van Cortlandt Park and the mansion, as well as the Van Cortlandt Nature Center, where you are taught by urban park rangers about the landscape. Amenities like barbecue areas, dog obstacle courses, various hiking trails, fishing, tracks, natural areas, and a multi-use field, to name a few, are things that you can find here in Van Cortlandt Park. Southern and central areas were used for picnics, outdoor games, hikes, horse rides, observing nature, creating playgrounds, and getting bragging rights as the oldest public golf course in the United States. The golf course carries as much significance now since it serves as one of the grand clubhouses wealthy people from the suburbs would go to in the 20th and 19th century. To this day, people are still able to enjoy these areas with the amenities that have been provided by the Parks Department. Van Cortlandt Park has a meaningful impact in the lives of the community and remains to be a protected feature of the Bronx. It is a landmark with rich history from other cultures and people groups, as well as a place of comfort for many locals. It continues to characterize the Bronx and serve as an outlet for communities to enjoy natural spaces in urban environments. Had the Van Cortlandt land stayed under private ownership, the Bronx would have lost the third largest park in New York City, a place of significant trades in the 1600s and 1700s, a historical battle site, and a home of civic engagement.